Now, it all started with winning that Kyogo Furuhashi Super Rare. You know, I had totally ripped up the game plan with my gallery to go and get some big Celtic cards in with the hopes of winning big prizes and winning big Celtic cards, and very quickly we've achieved one of those goals for the season. That then has had a knock-on effect to the rest of my basically 4 or 5 weeks from then to now. And in the video today, I'll be going through exactly how I've transformed my club through not just that, but I've won on a couple other cards along the way as well. And on top of that, some of the cards I've been selling and trading through the market are cards that I've picked up ages ago that have came to maturity. And as we, you know, end those chapters at FC Barcelona and my Sorare club, we begin new chapters with their replacements. So I'll be going through all my trading activity for the last month or so and let you know into exactly my train of thought, the strategies that are going on at play here, and how to always keep yourself moving with the market and keeping your gallery on an upward trajectory regardless of all the waves that are kind of going on. Now, if you're new to Sorare and you're yet to open your account, there's a raft of content on my channel that will help you do absolutely everything to make sure you make no mistakes when you join and you open up your new account. There's a link in the description in this video. When you open your account, by clicking directly on that link and signing up directly, you will get a free limited card. You can keep it, you can sell it, you can do whatever you want with it once you've bought 5 from the market. By doing that, you will go directly to supporting everything that gets done here at Quinny 3001, and I thank you in advance if you do so. You've got no idea how much it helps me produce the content that we've got going here. At any point in the video today, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe, share and retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and let's get stuck into it. Now, like I said, this kind of period all started off by winning that Kyogo Furuhashi Super Rare. I made a special kind of montage video for that game week if you want to go and check it out. And for me, that was one of the most amazing experiences I've had on Sorare in terms of actual success and winning. I've been on podiums, I've done all that kind of stuff before, won some big cards, but that whole thing, because it was my Celtic cards that helped me win it, there was other drama going on in the game week as well. And as I say, if you go and check out the video, you know, you'll kind of see what I mean. It was fantastic from start to finish, and you know, it was really one of those dream game weeks. It really was. For winning, or for coming second, I won a Kyogo Furuhashi Super Rare, which meant I had 2 of them. I also got some E for finishing on the podium, and at that point in time, I was really undecided with what to do with my gallery exactly, like where to level up, where to consolidate, where to, you know, speculate. All these things start to run through my head. The very first thing I done, because I know when situations like these arise, it's very easy to overlook, you know, like I always talk about on the channel, the pieces you can just bank into the club, the guys that the footballers you love anyway, the guys that you want to see do well, the guys you're watching week to week anyway. And the first card like that I picked up with my podium money was I went and I got a Savio Limited from PSV. He's on loan from Manchester City, or from Troy. Somebody in the City Football Group owns him. He's on loan at PSV, Brazilian up-and-coming wonder kid, all that good stuff. He didn't cost very much, but it was just really good for me to think, oh, I've got one now in my gallery, and I can think later on about rares and super rares. We'll maybe see if we get lucky, perhaps even win one as the season goes on. But meanwhile, I've got 2 Kyogos, and I'm thinking I should probably be moving one of these on, and obviously I'm not going to move on the one that I've won, my one with the hoops, you know, I'm going to move on the Vissel Kobe one. And, you know, friend of the channel, actually, Gaza, wanted to buy it. I had a few other bids as well, and I actually rejected a slightly bigger bid than what Gaza, well, in terms of actual ETH, a good bit bigger than what Gaza had offered me. But Gaza offered me fair market kind of trade overall, but part of the trade included me being reunited with my 1 of 10 Brais Mendes Super Rare from last season, who's at Sociedad, was in good form, and since we've gotten back, his form has continued to go up. So that was a deal that I just thought, yeah, that's great. A friend of the channel gets a really good discount on a fucking great card that's covered in luck because they helped me get second, you know. And I get one of my old cards back that I sold earlier in the year that I kind of regretted, gets him back into the club. So that was a really kind of great moment. And at that point, everything had kind of came quite crystal clear for me that I was really, really down on rare midfielders. And I kind of had a little hit list, a little to-do list of rare midfielders I wanted to go and pick up. And now my strategy with this, guys, almost always is I would almost rather always cast my net out a bit and get a few guys, and hopefully 1 or 2 of them pay off, rather than getting 1 or 2 guys and like needing them to absolutely pay off no matter what. So the first midfielder I went out and got, you might think, you know, this guy doesn't really fit that first category, Quinny, but I went out and I got a Santi Rodriguez rare. Now, I picked this up for under 0.4, and like I've mentioned on content before, I was looking to buy this guy on day 1. This is a first kind of pro tip, if you like, right? On day 1 of the new MLS season, when Rodriguez, when Magno, all these guys got cards, they were all mega expensive. And I just had to throw the towel in and say, listen, I just can't afford these guys for ages now. The opportunity came up where I seen Rodriguez was flatlining down with the MLS kind of dip. I always wanted one. I needed a rare mid. He had a couple of games left anyway. And further and beyond that, Asante Rodriguez is definitely a card that I'm interested in. So I picked him up quickly after that, just by pure luck. And again, the exact same sentiment as with Santi Rodriguez. MLS is coming down and I need some rare mids, some guys that I would buy and want in the club anyway. Unfortunately, Christian Roldan has got a really bad injury, not really getting auctioned. So it was only ever going to be Scottish Messi, Ryan Gauld. And just by pure luck, pure coincidence, by the time the stars had aligned and I was ready to go for a Gauld and his price had kind of flatlined, he'd been out for a few weeks as well with maybe a wee bit of bad form and a suspension or something, if memory serves me right. And we picked him up for under a quarter of an Ethereum. And it was also his jersey mint card, which is just extra special. It goes into the club, gallery. I've got a squad on my club page called Gallery Pieces. And it's like Camavinga out Ren and, all that kind of stuff. And it goes straight in there for me. Really happy to action that. On top of that, the kind of jersey number theme and with Santi Rodriguez, I went and got a Luis Barraza, who's the backup goalkeeper for New York City. But I went and got his jersey number as well. And that kind of fits into, again, another squad and another album that is on the club, and he's a backup like training goalkeeper kind of thing. So, and backup goalkeepers, they always come useful at some point, don't they? And then from that point, with some of the ETH I had lying around, and I'm still kind of thinking, right, I've got some rare mids in, and that's kind of put the stop on that problem for now. And then I'm thinking, okay, everyone's talking about World Cup, and yeah, I'd sold my Kim Young-gyu as well, the Korean probable number one goalkeeper. So I'm going into the World Cup with no goalkeepers. I'm thinking, I don't really care. I don't really mind not just playing underdogs or just doing whatever. Because I don't really think I've got that much to build on for the World Cup already, and I'm not going to go and get a full contingent exclusively for it. So with the La Liga 2 cards having a calendar throughout the World Cup period, I thought I'm going to go pick up a bunch of these limiteds and play Specialist Limited with La Liga 2. And I managed to spend like under 0.2 Ethereum and get like 14, 15 cards, including a playing goalkeeper and some stars in that division and some guys that have played at a much higher level that are currently first team players in respective squads in that division. So I felt like I gave myself a wee bit of extra utility for that, which was good fun. And then I sold Bayezid. Now, Bayezid is a goalkeeper that I picked up last year on the recommendation of you heroes that join in the live chats for the live streams and leave comments in the videos. Somebody recommended Bayezid as a backup under 23 goalkeeper last year to me, and I picked him up for, in relative terms to now, a very good fee. He's been on to be a number one U23 goalkeeper, and he's peaking out in price at a really good point. And I just thought, you know what? It's a great time to maybe sell him and move him on. From selling the Bayezid, the first thing I went and done was buy Tenas. Now, Tenas is like the third choice goalkeeper at Barca. He's 20. I'm not expecting anything out of this guy anytime soon, but he is just going to go into the back of my gallery. Earlier this year, I sold guys like Ivor Pandur, Radu, and now Bayezid. Under 23 kind of backup keepers for the whole time I'd owned them, and in this year they came into the fort and they were really good market collateral for me to get into the market and get some ETH or to get other cards traded around or whatever. So for that cycle to repeat, I need to replenish my stock. So I've went out and I've got a 10 maybe in 18 months it gets a loan, maybe in 12 months it gets a loan, whatever. And then I actioned an absolutely massive trade. Now, as you guys will know, I've been a huge fanboy of Martin van der Voort since been on the platform. And earlier this year, I traded my 1 of 100 special van der Voort for a normal one so that I could buy Callum McGregor unique at face value. So now I'm currently in possession, or was currently in possession of, a normal enough Van der Voort, nothing particularly special or whatever about it. And when his price is pushing up towards free ETH, I get a nosebleed, and I just think for an under 23 keeper that I'm not that attached to emotionally, it's not an NFT that I'm like, I need to keep this guy in my club, it means so much to me. I can easily cash in on that peak opportunity kind of coming in. And I sold to Roddy Boss Van der Voort, Nunes, Token, and a couple other bits and pieces for just over 3 ETH, just by the time everything went, and doing a bulk sale, how these things go. And one of the cards that went out was rare, Jack Hendry. And again, just by pure coincidence, the way things had panned out, Jack Hendry looks to be a Scotland international centre-back now. I got his super rare for, basically 0.1 Ethereum, and he can go really well with my McGregor for International Nations League and whatever. And it's a Jack Hendry, and it's in the Bruges kit. He won the league with Bruges, so I kind of like that. It's much better than the Ostend Jack Hendry that I had. And maybe the super rare that has a bit of utility for me, whatever. And then, I didn't even mean to really go and get this, but I was scratching around, and I did really need an extra bit of super rare in particular. challenger forward options that would complement, my Mulgrew and co, but wasn't really necessarily tied to Celtic. And a Tony Watt super rare was on auction, and I just max bidded it, just put quarter of an ETH on it, and was just like, I'm just going to take this for that, and I picked it up. Now, with the Van de Voort being done, right, this is where one chapter closes and another one opens, similar with Bayezid and Tenas, right? Originally, Van de Voort was a really special card, the 1 of 100 from the very first season. Like, he's like 16 in the picture. He's a real academy kid in it. So now the Van de Voort chapter at the club is kind of closed, and I want to replace him with somebody else that's going to be really special in the club. And I went and I paid like 10% over market floor, which is expected these types of things. But I went and got jersey number Tallis Magno. This was a card that I wanted immediately from the beginning of the season. And like I said earlier with the Santi Rodriguez, even when he was super priced, I was like, I'm kind of after number 43 anyway. So hopefully by the time 43 comes around, like, the auction will be pretty good. I actually missed the auction. I was totally sleeping on it. Didn't even check on the latest auction numbers or anything like that. And it went for like a song. It went for 0.6ish or something. The floor now is about 0.65. I paid about 0.71 or so. But yeah, good deal for me, and a card that I'm really happy to get in. And he's been in a winning team already so far on his debut, which is fantastic. And that's a guy that for next season and in his career is going to be a beautiful card in FC Barcelona for sure. And then we had another chapter close at FC Barcelona. The very first super rare I ever bought, Kieran Trippier at Atletico Madrid, cost me £45, which at the time was just under a quarter of an Ethereum. I sold him for an Ethereum plus what I'd originally paid for him. So an Ethereum and a quarter, 1.25, which at current market value or whatever was about £1,545. So it was a nice clean profit step up. Love Trippier, miss him already. But he is 32 and he is in the Premier League, and I'm watching less and less Premier League as things are going on at the moment with how involved I am in La Liga, Scottish football, Champions League, American, all the stuff that's kind of going on in Germany and Italy as well. So I thought, you know what, it's the best offer I've ever had for him. He's not getting any younger, and it's maybe a good opportunity to move him on. I think one is sold recently for more. The guy still has mine. He's trying to double his money on it, and fair play to him if he can do it. But I've had that Trippier for over 2 years, and I've not had many offers for it. So like, I'm quite happy with where I got out on it. Is my kind of sentiment on that. But again, it's then kind of refocused me right into a situation because. With selling the Van de Voort, I've brought in the Magno, I've brought in the Watt, we've brought in the Hendry. I also have then went out and got a Fabian de Kaiser, because very similar to Van de Voort, I need another U23 keeper that's very close to the team that might come back in at some point in the season and could be useful for me. I don't want to go and buy a Bayezid. I don't want to go and get another U23 keeper that's over an ETH pushing too. I want to find a guy that's on the bench who probably will come off the bench at some point. And Fabian de Kaiser is just the first in that queue. I got him for 0.62. The floor's about the same now. Auctions are a bit above that with the new season bonus and whatever. And, I'm joining that club of we cannot wait to see hologram hands Barkas get dropped out the Utrecht team. And hopefully the plan is maybe de Kaiser gets me back into a Van de Voort later on, in 6 months from now or whatever. But the Van de Voort, I've had exposure to Van de Voort for about 2 years, reaped a lot of rewards with him, and the Trippier equally as well. Like, he's had some different situations, but these guys feel like I've really topped out on them, and I've got a good situation where I can move on and open a new chapter. So after Trippier going out, I feel like I've replaced everyone else to this point really well. Kyogo goes out, I bring in Brais Mendes super rare, and then with the ETH that goes around, we get Santi, we get Gold, we then get some La Liga Limited. Bayezid goes out, we bring in Tenas, we get Hendry in, and all the other stuff that I was talking about. But then after Trippier goes out, we bring in Stefano Sensi, who looks to be an apex rare mid to come into my team and just complement, my Celtic cards when the Italian fixtures kind of line up with it. And like a day later after I bought him, he smashes 100 with a decisive action. So that feels like a great pickup. Over the football I was watching at the weekend as well, I've been a huge long-term admirer of Nordi Mukiele, and I got him for one of the cheapest prices anyone's ever got him for in pound notes. Ethereum wise, it's definitely on the lower end of things, but he played amazing at the weekend, and when I was watching the game I was like, I cannot not buy him. It feels like he's been bought by PSG to be a PSG player, and it's just getting him up to speed and getting him integrated. And I think as time goes on, he's just going to cement himself more and more in that Paris Saint-Germain team. And for Trippier to go out as well, part of the thinking with that for me is that I've got a lot of super rares out of defence that would probably be more useful in Champion Rare Pro. in midfield and up front. I've got guys that are goal scorers and in good teams and whatever. So having like a rare defender like Mukiele to supplement some of the other rare defenders I've got feels useful, as well as having that extra rare mid, because the rare mids I needed, if you remember earlier on, the ones I bought are non-EU, Gold and Santi and whatever. So I still had a need because of Conrad Limer's injury, who I've also picked up in this period. I needed another guy. And again, Limer and Sensei combined is 0.4. I'd rather have the two of them than have one guy for 0.4. But to wholeheartedly replace Kieran Trippier at FC Barcelona, we had to get a special talent. And again, very similar. I'm getting real deja vu vibes from when I picked up the Harwood Bellis 1 of 100, 1 of 10. When I picked that up, it was a very similar price to what I got this card for. Man City player out on loan. And Harwood Bellis now is like a monster. So again, I'm not expecting this guy to replace Trippier or even be the next THB this season, but his season's going on. That's what my players are all about. It's what my club's all about. We brought in Yan Couto, the wonder kid right back from Brazil that City have brought in from Palmeiras and put out on loan to Girona. Now, this guy was actually really close to coming to Celtic on loan as well. And if we ever lost Juranovic, and, you know, who knows what happens with the right back situation at Celtic over the next, 6 to 8 months. Maybe a Couto, maybe a loan does come up again, perhaps. And, that would be fun, wouldn't it? On top of all of this, guys, right, this is where the disclaimer comes back in at the beginning. I have also withdrawn, on top of all of this, just under 5 ETH. So not only have I strengthened my club in all the key areas where I'm competing, but I've also withdrawn because I've traded successfully. I've sat on cards for a long time. I don't do that every month, make withdrawals like that, you'll understand. But I've sat on these cards, waited for opportunities, and I do this maybe a couple of times a season where there's cards that just come into line together and you just let them go out the door. You strengthen your team and then you enjoy the kind of the benefits of playing the game, I'm a professional player. I've been playing this for 2 years. I feel quite confident at this point calling myself that. And especially with the action I've managed to get over the last 30 days, it certainly feels like it. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Don't forget, guys, to like, subscribe and share and retweet and all that good stuff. Drop your comments down below and let me know what your thoughts are on everything and anything, of course, as usual. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.